Okay, I have nothing. I
Oh, I
have
have something.
nothing. Nothing.
Nothing. Don't make me go. Ready? Um, uh, so I was talking. I had a meeting, lunch meeting the other day, and this woman
Mm-hmm.
asked me my sign, and I said to her,
Mm-hmm.
"You know what? Have you noticed this? Like in the last, it's always been around. My mother used to talk about signs growing up, but in the last 10 to 15 years, it's like
Mm-hmm.
blown up. People meet you at a party, they don't know your name.
Yeah.
Like, what's your sign?
Oh, it's so LA. Did she ask your big three?
Oh yes, she was like, well, what's your rising and what's your moon?" And I was like, "Girl, I don't
Mm-hmm.
even know." We had to look at
Oh
the
yeah.
at CoStar, the app.
Oh yeah. I know mine, but I don't really know enough about it to tell you like what it is. And I bought some books
Oh,
and I
did you?
have I bought some books. Well, you know what it is too, to your point about like, yes, it has felt like it's I don't know in the for me moving to LA, it's very LA. Everybody wants
Mm.
to know your sign, but also gay. When you fucking meet a woman, that's the first thing they're
Oh.
fucking asking you about. And I cannot tell you how many times I've met people and they've been like, oh, can't do it. I'm sorry. My ex is a
Are you
Sag. And I'm like,
serious?
okay, nice to meet you. Like, yeah. And
Well,
I
because
went
they
out
want
with
to
a,
put you in a box. They want to
yes.
categorize you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really do. I will also say went out with this girl who it ended very quickly, but she definitely got our charts read after like the second date, and I was like, this is so gay and intense.
Without you, like she went and had them read
Well, they
somewhere?
what they do is you can give someone your birthday and your partner's birthday, and they'll put
Hmm.
together a chart for you and they'll just send it to you. It's like a thing that you can
Wow.
buy online. And so she went and had it bought after our second, I think it was after our first date, which was like red flag city.
God, they be
I
moving
know.
fast out here. Well, the
I mean, it's just
lesbians.
lesbians. It's
They be moving
just,
so
I was like,
fast.
this is a walking stereotype. Getting our charts read after one date. We hadn't even slept together.
Right, and let me tell you on the man gay side over here, you really don't know nothing until you sleep with somebody. Let me tell you,
Yeah, and like, and you know what? In hindsight, maybe we should have, because the girl was wacky. That meant it probably would have been a bomb.
it
But
would have been
she was a
banging.
fucking weirdo. She was a weirdo.
God, yeah, I really don't know what any of them mean in terms of like rising and moon. I think it's like rising is how you present to the world, and moon is how you really are, or something.
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
don't know. She was like, I have a something Virgo. Well, my rising is Sagittarius, actually, which is probably
Oh,
why we vibe so much.
yeah,
And
maybe.
my moon is Cancer, but she like looked at the chart and she saw something else, and
Oh, there's all sorts of. I mean,
she was like, "Oh,
honestly,
Virgo is your
when
Saturn
people
or your
start
Mercury."
when people start talking about this, truly, my eyes glaze over because and because it feels like. Remember we talked about this in an episode a while ago. I forget what it was about. We were talking about like those scammers who kind of like do energy readings, or they're like psychics and they would go on the shows, and like there was one
Oh
that had like a
yes,
lawsuit or whatever.
yes.
So a lot of that is reading like cues of people's bodies and stuff. And I feel sometimes when people start talking about signs, they're doing the same thing where they're like, you're a Virgo, you're a Cancer, and they just like wait till and they're like, yep, I could. You're like, you just named five signs.
Wait, she
Like,
did say she was like was something in Virgo for me, and she was like, "Yeah, that's you choose your words very wisely." She's like, "You think a lot," and I was like,
mhm.
which is very true. I do
Yeah,
like I stutter over my words. I try to find the right word. I really
yeah,
like words because I'm trying to say it
yes.
correctly or articulate myself very well.
And was this someone
Um,
that you just met, or do you know
I
them?
met
Or
her at a party, and we're trying to work on this project together. So
see, but
we like me
this is
to.
what I mean. It's always vague shit where it's like, you have a car, right? And you're like, oh my god, I do have a car. Like, what the
Well,
fuck?
you
You
know what it.
choose. You talk. You're a talker.
You're breathing.
You like to read. You're a reader.
Uh-uh.
Have you read before?
No, I think you're
Yes.
the reader because you're reading me currently. I do think it emphasizes how we want answers, though. I think
Mm.
we're trying to find the answer, and we're not comfortable not knowing. And I say that as somebody who's very type A. We
Yeah.
commiserate over this. We're very similar in so many ways, but I also am comfortable with not knowing in some. Well, with some things, like
Yeah.
with theater, when I start a new play and I'm just figuring it out, and I'm okay with not knowing, right? Because I know you'll
Hmm.
eventually have to figure it out. You have to know. I'm
Well, and
somebody who
in acting, sorry to cut you off.
no
In
no please.
theater and performance, it's not even just the not knowing. You get to invent some of it, right? Like
Hmm.
you are
I get to
part of the
find
process.
it. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will say, as someone that has become more woo, and I'm like only lightly woo in the fact that I am more open to the possibilities that like the universe is kind of organizing things for us, not
Mm.
necessarily like predestined things, but the fact that sometimes there's just too many coincidences in life that
Hmm.
feel like they were meant to happen, right?
Yes.
Like a good example was today talking about, the listener letter that came, that was like perfectly in line with what you and I had just been talking about. And
Yes.
like things
Yes.
like that happen where I'll be thinking about someone and they'll text me, or I'll find a book and it will be about something that I had just spoken to a friend about. And I'm like, whoa, that's weird. And some
Mm.
of those things I'm like, oh, the universe, I now feel like, okay, maybe something is trying to push me in this direction,
Yes.
versus before I was like, well, that's just a coincidence. But I now also recognize that I think a lot of, to your point about the like wanting answers, the world is fucking scary. And
Ugh,
so like that's the same reason people turn to religion,
it's
right?
so
Like
true.
it feels better to think like someone else is in charge, this is
Hmm.
being handled, there's a master plan, this is going to work out, God doesn't give me anything I can't handle, that type of stuff, whatever.
Hmm.
Like people turn to that because the alternative is to just like every day wake up and just be like, I don't know, let's see what's going to happen. That's fucking
Wait.
scary.
When you're down to nothing, God's up to something.
Oh,
That is when your mother gave me, actually.
oh, she did.
She did, and I told
Lorna loves a
mom.
card. She
I
said, did
said
she
it.
send you a card?
No, it was just a quote she said. I think when
Oh,
I was like, in some context of
is it the
conversation.
morning meme? She sends.
Oh,
She
she
said
sends me one every morning. I heart it every morning. I do. She sends it every morning. God bless her. God bless her.
she is so. Does your mom do that? What is it with moms and these memes?
No, my mom's just always trying to pray and or do the thing where something's hard and she's like, how are you? And you go,
Hmm.
oh, I'm really difficult, things are really difficult right now or whatever, and she goes, oh, I'm gonna pray, I've been praying for you. And her thing now is emojis via text, and she says, I love you forever. That's her thing, and a
Oh
bunch of
wow.
emojis.
What are her emojis of choice?
Smiley faces. She loves
Hmm.
the little three stars or whatever, the
Oh,
little three
I love a
sparkles.
sparkle. I love a
Yeah.
sparkle.
And she loves hearts, I think, different color hearts,
Hmm.
and the faces. They don't really mean anything. They're just like
Okay.
decorations
No,
on a tree,
those
right?
are those are all those are all safe ones. Those are
Mm.
safe ones. I ask because my dad is a new emoji person, and for some reason, my dad loves a little monkey. Like this
Why does that make me laugh?
feels like because it feels racist. Why are you sending me a little monkey?
What?
Like,
Why are you calling me a monkey? Why are you calling me a
why
monkey?
is this monkey winking at me? Like, what is that supposed to mean?
I am all the way dead. That's so funny.
Oh wait, this is also kind of related. At one time, I had to explain to my mom what LOL meant because she thought it meant lots of love, and she
Oh.
sent me very sweet. Except for she
Hmm.
sent me a message about somebody dying, and she said LOL.
And you were
I
like,
said,
did you hate
no,
her?
she died. LOL. No, that's not. I don't think that's what you
Oh
mean.
my God. That is so fucking funny. Do you ever have that thing where you like when somebody uses like this one was using an EPL in this meeting, and I did not know what it
Hmm.
meant, and I didn't ask her. I was like, I'll just Google it later. But people do that all the time. They're like, an X24, you need that X24 form. And you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Do you have any there was an episode of This American Life about this, about people using the wrong word and like not finding out for years later. Like like
That's happened
uh
to me.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
there was one that was really funny. Oh, like you know how when you see on a street sign the crossing, it's like an X I N G. This woman kept was
Mm.
saying Xing. She was like, "Oh yeah, the Xing sign." And somebody was like, "You mean crossing?" And she was like, "Oh my god, she's been saying Xing her whole life."
Oh, that
Wait,
is so funny. But
you have an example of that?
well, one recently, what was the word? God, I use the word discourse a lot. I love
Mhm.
discourse, and
Mhm.
in writing our episode, actually, I was like, discourse as opposed to debate. And then I
Okay.
Googled, which I often do, like when I'm using a word, I'm like, am I using this correctly?
Yeah.
Discourse is debate. Like discourse is an actual debate. It's either
Yeah.
a definition of words or excuse
It's
me,
it's opposing thoughts about a topic.
right. And so I was like, oh,
Mhm.
Delon, those are one and the same. And I've
Yeah.
actually been using them separately. I like discourse. I don't like debate on a soapbox. And Delon, they're the same fucking
They're
thing,
the same.
right?
Well, one that I see a lot online that just fucking grinds my gears, and you probably haven't seen this because you're not as chronically online as I am, is aesthetic. People in an aesthetic is a type of look, right? Like I
Mm,
like the preppy aesthetic, for example.
mm.
The girls are now just saying something is aesthetic. They're like, oh, I just love an aesthetic look. No, what kind of aesthetic look?
That
Aesthetic
is so
is,
fucking funny.
and it's like how to make your YouTube thumbnails look more aesthetic, how to make your apartment look more
Wow.
aesthetic. And it's like, that's not what the
An aesthetic
word.
is is a type of thing.
Yes, but now like I don't know if it's like a Gen Z thing that is now just spilled over into everything, but I've seen it in like marketing things too,
Are you
where it's like
serious?
we're all using aesthetic the wrong way. Like it's
Wow.
I don't know that I can think of one, but I will say I'm like you that sometimes I use a word and then afterwards I Google it to be like, am I using this correctly? And then I'm like,
Right.
I have a moment of like, oh, thank God I am using
I
it right.
know,
Like,
because you don't want people to think you're stupid, right? Uh,
yeah. It's also just kind of like a testament to your brain where like I can't even process how the brain is working in this way. Where
mm,
like if I really try to think about it, it blows my mind. Like I just pull words out of the
I
air
know. I
and then
know.
they come into my brain and then they come out? Like
And
what
then
the
but I
fuck?
also, you tether them together to
Yes.
create an idea that's understood, that's, palatable or that's digestible is the word, to somebody else.
Do you have an inner voice?
Um, that inner voice is just my voice speaking out loud because I talk to
Do you
myself
hear
all the fucking time.
I ask this because I saw an article about there are some people that don't have an inner voice. Like they're just it's just silent inside their brain.
I think our Courtney Harge, our friend Courtney,
Mhm.
who has been on the pod before, she was talking about this in a different capacity with reading, right? So
Mhm.
like when
Mhm.
I'm reading something, I actually hear it in my head. And
Yeah.
Courtney was like, "Oh, I don't have that." I was like, "What do you do?" She's like, "Well, I'm just reading the text." And I was like, "Oh no, it is
Don't understand it.
playing in my head."
Don't understand it. How I absolutely hear it. Well, this is so funny too because Shamika, who I've talked about bajillion times, my work wife, she's my writing partner. And when the first time we wrote a pilot together, I remember being so confused because I would pitch her a joke and then she would just get really quiet and like sit there. And I was like, okay, cool. So you hate the joke. You think I'm an idiot. And she's like, no, I'm seeing it in my brain. And she would just sit there quietly and like look off in the distance and then be like, yeah, okay, that works. And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm playing the scene in my mind. And that's
Mm,
how she writes. She has
mm.
an idea and then she visualizes it in her mind to see if it works and then she puts it on the page. And so I don't do that. I more hear it. I speak it out. I like
Yeah.
talk it, but I don't see it in my mind.
Correction. That's actually what we were talking about. Courtney
When
reads,
you're
she doesn't
reading,
see anything. That's what it was.
oh,
And I absolutely see. I have a very visual mind, so I see everything that you're describing. Right. I create a
yes,
face for the characters. It's not
yes.
like a really direct face. Like I correct. I when you're describing what they're wearing, I actually
Mhm.
like put it on them. Like it comes alive in my head.
Yes. I mean, I I've always done that. And I think it's just like the imaginative part of me is like an artist because I
Mm-hmm.
like to draw. And so like when I'm drawing things, like I visualize like for example, in my journal today, I wrote Wednesday and I made the tail of the Y into a snake. And then I started being like, what does a snake look like? And then I started like visualizing a snake and just trying to
Mm.
draw it. So like that's how my brain has always worked. It is unbelievable to me that other people's brains don't work that way. I mean, it's very
I
cool, but it's
know.
also like, how you brain, how you be doing the things you do?
How do you do it? How do you do it? And I could use a few more brain cells back. I know you can't. I know you can't regrow them. Like once they're
No,
gone,
they're
they're
gone.
gone.
No, they're gone.